Welcome, everyone, to Joe Walton Stadium here on the campus of Robert Morris University in Pittsburgh. Garrow Von Dane with you live as the Colonials and Akron Zips get set to go here in the first ever MAC conference game here at the Joe, as the Colonials are new members of the MAC this year, and this is their first home game against a MAC opponent. So the Colonials taking on the Akron Zips. Robert Morris comes in with a record overall of 5-2. And are 1-0 in the MAC. The screen is showing you something different, but the Colonials are 5-2 overall, 1-0 in the MAC, and Akron is 3-2 and 1-1. So those numbers just reversed there on your screen. The Zips 3-2 overall, 1-1 in conference play. Robert Morris just wrapping up a 4-game road trip with a loss at Cincinnati on Wednesday, 16-7. Colonials fell behind by 10 in the first half and then battled back in the second half, but just too much to overcome with that 10-goal deficit. Meanwhile, Akron's coming off a close 9-8 loss to Kent State last Saturday. Mostly sunny skies here in Pittsburgh. There are a lot of clouds up there, so sun will be back and forth. And temperatures in the low 40s here for this afternoon matinee businessman special. So glad you can join us for some Division I women's lacrosse here from the Joe. And RMU has been really good here at home, unbeaten at home over the last couple of seasons. And meanwhile, Akron is in just their second year as a Division I program. Robert Morris will go right to left across your screen. And the Colonials in their grays. And the Zips wearing the dark blues with the gold trim. Colonials with the blue numerals outlined with red. And we're underway here from Pittsburgh. And off the opening draw, still on the turf, and the Zips with a chance to pick it up. And the whistle blows, so this ball will be awarded to Akron. Akron going left to right across your screen. And the Zips will carry it in first. Noelle Boyd, the freshman from Murraysville, Pennsylvania. A lot of local Pittsburgh area players on this Akron team. That's not unusual. Akron recruits in all sports in the Pittsburgh area. It's just a couple hours away from Pittsburgh. The Zips will carry it up top. Abby McMullen up high. Holding it number 16. Drops it inside the fan. It comes back out again. They try to go underneath to Glassy, but she was unable to draw it in. Now a battle for it in the back of the end zone. And it's pushed to the far sideline. It'll be scooped up by Akron. They maintain possession here. First offensive chance for the Zips, and now the whistle blows on a shooting space violation. And just under a minute played here at Robert Morris. Back home again after that 4-game road trip. And it happens to be 1 year to the day that Robert Morris and the world lost Jack Toom, Colonials men's lacrosse player, passing away suddenly. And we lost him a year ago. It's still hard to believe. He was honored with a moment of silence before this afternoon's game. The Zips still cycling around here on this opening offensive possession. They'll go up top to Silverheels, and her pass was knocked away for the moment, but the Zips get it back again as it's corralled by Abby Schaefer, the freshman from Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. Down near side, Anna Dennison. Swing it outside the hash, now it's carried back in. Colonials defense, though, very tough to navigate. And here comes the shot from way outside, and it's into the goalie cross. And the first save of the game for the Colonial netminder Caitlin Miller, who has started now 67 consecutive games as a Colonial. And Robert Morris will cross midfield for their first offensive possession of the game. I mentioned the Colonials defense, they are a very good defensive team. And it's going to be tough for this Akron Zips squad to score goals today. That much we know. But how will Akron's defense stand up against the Colonials? Robert Morris averaging 12.5 goals per game. The Zips giving up about 9.5 on average in the early part of the season so far. The Zips have played 5 games, Colonials have played 7. Hannah Miller with it near side. Miller goes up top to Kelsey Nelson. They go underneath in the finish, and the Colonials strike first, and it's 1-0. Robert Morris. Colonials on top of the Zips with 27:09 to go in the first. And Thalia Zolas with the finish. Look at that shot high into the corner from Zolas. Robert Morris on top, 1-0. Colonials and Zips in the home MAC opener for the Colonials. Robert Morris opened MAC play against Kent State on that road trip and defeated the Golden Flashes. Colonials were picked in the preseason poll second behind Central Michigan, so a lot of people looking forward to seeing how the Colonials and the Chippewas match up when they eventually play. Going to the right side, and the shot and a score, and just like that, the Colonials on top by 2. And it counts. There was a little delay there after the goal, but it counts, and Mackenzie Gandy has her first goal of the game. All-time leading scorer for 80-point mark. And she's well over that now. 2-zip RMU. And that one didn't take long at all. Just a few seconds after the Zolas goal. And it's 2-zip RMU. Garo Von Dane here in Pittsburgh, the day after the Colonials women's hockey team fell in the NCAA tournament round of 8. A quarterfinal game as they lost to the top overall seed, the Northeastern Huskies. So their season comes to a close, but they finished with a conference title in College Hockey America and a well-fought game in the NCAA tournament, their second trip to the NCAAs, and first since 2017. Colonial men's hockey team lost over the weekend. They had a 1-0 lead in their best-of-3 series against Niagara, and the Purple Eagles won Game 2 in double overtime and then won Game 3 by a 2-1 final. Colonials force the turnover and race in here. Back on offense, leading 2-0. Cottaros will carry it behind the goal line for RMU. In goal is Abby Lurch for Akron, and makes her first save of the game there, does Lurch. And the Zips pick up the rebound and head the other direction with it. Ball is dropped and scooped back up again by Julia Frombach, the freshman from Avon, Ohio. Thrown to the near side, and it goes out of bounds. Intended target was Noelle Boyd. The Colonials defended well. Cleo Kerr defending on the near sideline. It's Robert Morris possession. Colleen Tift will bring it to the goal line and drop it off behind the cage. 2-zip RMU here early going. Colonials go up high to Mackenzie Bell. Bell dropped the ball, but she'll race back to pick it up again. Bell, number 14, the freshman from Maryland. A lot of Maryland flavor on this Robert Morris roster. A much deeper bench here for RMU too. The Zips have just 6 extra players on the bench, as they are again in their second year as a program, and last year was an abbreviated season, of course. Tried to go in front, ball was too high for Melanie Gandy, but the Colonials scoop it up, but the pass underneath is intercepted and the Zips take it away. And McMullen has it for Akron. Crossing midfield with speed is Frombach. And now Frombach will slow down as the Zips try to set up their offense. She dropped the ball, though, on the near sideline. And the ground ball picked up momentarily and then lost by Griffin. And the Zips get it back again. Colonials had the turnover forced, but couldn't pick up that loose ball. So Dennison now, or rather, Dennison has it now. For the Zips, they try to go underneath, and Miller takes it away with lit fishnet. And Miller puts it back in play for RMU. Caitlin Miller, top goaltender in Robert Morris history. She is awful tough to beat. Save percentage around 47. Tremendous numbers for the RMU goaltender. Let's take another look at that save that Caitlin Miller just had moments ago. Look at that save. That was a little crossed up there on the good shot from Abby Schaefer. But Miller is just too good between the pipes. And now the Colonials with a free position, and the shot was deflected away. Good defense by the Zips, but the Colonials get it back again. Kiefer broke up that play. Alexis Kiefer, the freshman, the leading goal scorer for the Zips, was defending on that shot and almost created the turnover for the Zips. Kiefer has 14 goals in 5 games. There's the low shot, and that one was stopped. That was Mackenzie Gandy in front, and a big-time save by Abby Lurch. Colonials, though, find that rebound and put it back into play with a new shot clock, leading 2-0 here. 7 minutes have ticked off the first half clock. The Robert Morris men are 3-3 on the season. They've won a couple in a row. They won in the snow in Colorado Springs against Air Force on Saturday. That was something to behold. They kept changing their minds on whether they wanted to move that game indoors or keep it outdoors, and eventually they played outdoors. And it was dumping snow there, and the Colonials got out to a big lead against Air Force and then had to hold off the Falcons in the second half to win a close one. And it gets through, and the Colonials score again off the long offensive possession. And they sneak one through, and it's 3-zip RMU. Hannah Miller for the Colonials with the goal. As we take another look at it here, Miller off the free possession, bounces low, and 3-0 RMU. Just tough to stop there for Lurch, as the veteran Miller gets her first of the game. It comes with 22:43 to go. First half. Miller, the senior from Marriottsville, Maryland. A lot of key seniors on this Robert Morris team this year. Head coach Katrina Silva is going to have some big-time players to try and replace. Colonials win another draw and bring it right back in again, leading 3-0. The sun is out here at Pittsburgh. Twisted underneath, and the shot is deflected high and out of play. It'll stay with RMU. MAC home opener for the Colonials. Second meeting ever with the Zips. And the Zips force the interception in the slot area, and Akron puts it in play, and now they'll fly upfield with it. Quick transition offense here is once again with the speed is Frombach, the freshman, and runs into a couple of Colonials and goes down. And that'll be called against RMU. Shea McCardle defending. And the ball will stay with the Zips. We're trying to get on the board here, trailing 3-0. Last season, the Colonials defeated Akron 18-4. And the Zips have added a lot of players this year from that nearly exclusive freshman team a year ago. Noelle Boyd. to the outside. As Akron looks for some kind of opening against this RMU defense, and falling down on the play and losing the ball was Frombach as the Colonials unable to quite take it away. Good defense there by Griffin. And Griffin there for the free position, so Akron will have a chance from the angle. Abby Schaefer, the Beaver Falls native. And the shot was deflected, and it goes wide, and it's going to go to RMU. Colonials had a player back, so Colonials possession. And moving upfield is Kerr looking for help and throws it deep, and it's drawn in nicely by Nelson, and she swings it to the right side. Now near side for Gandy. Mackenzie Gandy moves in, number 36, and there's the shooting space. Called against Alexi Hardy. And so an open look here for the most dangerous goal scorer on this Robert Morris team. There she faces up against Abby Lurch, and she'll swing it outside behind the goal. Now up top it comes for RMU. Kelsey Nelson, number 3. Able to scoop it back up again. Behind the net as the Colonials cycle it around the perimeter. Now they go underneath. Ball is dropped, trying to pick it up and wrestling for it now. It was a battle between Jordan Anderson and the goaltender Lurch, and Lurch is awarded that possession. So another big stop for the Zips. But an interception here the other way as the Colonials force the turnover. And it's carried back in by RMU. That was picked off by Tift. And she still has the ball as she goes behind the goal with it. Tift behind the net. To Gandy, who twists inside, and the free position play. As Gandy had gotten in alone, but stoppage comes before that. And so Gandy with a lot of room here. Will she elect to shoot this time? She moves in. Shot and a save made by Lurch. Good stop by the goaltender for the Zips. And can they pick up this loose ball? It's still on the turf, and Gandy comes out of nowhere to find it. Oh, the Zips have got to pick up those ground balls after their goaltender makes a big save. But the Colonials out hustle. Colonials are a good ground ball team, as you saw right there. Underneath, and another free position on the far hash. Colonials leading 3-0 with 19:23 on the first half clock. The moving shot gets in, and the Colonials score again, and they lead it by 4 here at the Joe. Just too tough to stop the Colonials getting productive offensive possessions, one after the next. The Colonials leading now 4-0 as we get another look at it. And a timeout on the field. The Zips will use this timeout here after the Melanie Gandy goal. Makes it 4-0 with 19:20 to go in the first. All RMU in the early going. Back to the Joe here in just a moment. Colonials here at Joe Walton Stadium on the campus of Robert Morris University, just outside of Pittsburgh here in Moon Township, PA. And the Zips, again, our graphic is reversed there. The Colonials record is 5-2 overall. The Zips are 3-2. Colonials 1-0 in conference play with the win over Kent State. And the Zips are 1-1. They just came off a one-goal loss to Kent State. Draw at midfield. Boyd taking the draw against the Colonials' Kathleen Kelly, the freshman from Cincinnati, getting to take the draw at midfield here for RMU. Kelly has the ball after another win. 19:05 to go first half, and Robert Morris with the early 4-0 lead as they are shutting down the Zips so far. And just a few saves that Miller has had to make thus far. They've been good ones. But the Colonials limiting the Zips' opportunities. And the Colonials back on the attack offensively here after another draw victory. And just pressuring this Akron defense, and the move-in shot and a good save again by Lurch. She's made a collection of saves here so far. As that time she stops Tift. And showing some skills in goal is Abby Lurch, the freshman from Coriopolis, Pennsylvania. She went to high school at Moon High School just up the street here. Again, more of that local Pittsburgh flavor on this Akron team. And the Zips force the turnover as Frombach races upfield with it, number 21. Zips carry it in. And we'll set up their offensive possession. Still looking to get on the board. And bringing it in now is McMullen, and then backs out. We'll go to the wing. Twisting inside and then dropping the ball was Kiefer. Just dropped it as she tried to make a move around a couple Colonial defenders. Now Miller for RMU. Gets it ahead. 1-on-3 though. Akron defense is back. Curling around. Now behind the net for RMU is Miller. Now looks for help and drops it off behind the net as the Colonials set up their offense here with a 4-0 lead. Faking the shot and backing off is Anderson. And play is stopped. Zips need to get more production out of their offensive possessions. Here's the shot low, and it bounces through and gets in. Jordan Anderson adds one for Robert Morris. It looked like Lurch was going to make the save, but it gets through. And Anderson has her first of the game. The sophomore from Savage, Minnesota, as you see it there. And she had the initial save, did Lurch, but it just bounced behind her across the goal line just enough to be countered a goal with 17:02 to go. First half, it's Robert Morris 5 and Akron 0. A tough start for second-year head coach Christy Mitchell and the Akron Zips. It is no easy task to take a young team and go up against this veteran Robert Morris club, coached by Katrina Silva. Colonials have the ball again, and Zolas will bring it in. Another face-off win for the Colonials. They get it inside. Oh, and the ball was dropped. Having a wide-open look momentarily was Anderson. She's able to get the ball back and keep possession for RMU. All Colonials so far, and they've used some long offensive possessions, finishing with a lot of goals. The Zips have created some turnovers, and look out, a steal there by the goaltender Lurch. But they just haven't been able to turn it into anything so far. Pass ahead, and that one's dropped. And a turnover by the Zips as Dennison couldn't draw it in. And the ball back to the Colonials. Play stopped again for shooting position. Four players from the Pittsburgh area on this Akron team. Murraysville, PA, Gibsonia, PA, Beaver Falls, and Coriopolis. Lacrosse has become a big-time sport here in Western Pennsylvania. You can do a lot of recruiting right here in your backyard if you're Katrina Silva. Carried to the near sideline by the Zips, Noel Boyd. Akron trying to get that 0 off the scoreboard. And Sarah Pattison will play it along the goal line. Back it comes to Boyd. Boyd goes up top with it. Abby Schaefer. Not had many looks inside, have the Zips, as Boyd tries to get there, loses the ball, but it was contact that forced it out of her from Nelson. So Boyd gets it back again. Franklin Regional High School grad. And she'll back it out. Anna Dennison from Falston, Maryland. Tried to get it inside and just ran into too much Colonial opposition, did Kiefer. Kiefer again, number 10, with 14 goals on this season, but nothing yet here today. Little contact up high, ball on the turf. And as Zips able to get it back again is Dennison. Now she drops it, and the Colonials are going to find that loose ball as Miller got to it. Good hard work by this Colonial relentless defense. Ahead it goes to Kerr. Cleo Kerr picks up a couple of defenders, moves right to the hash, now turns inside, walks in, shoots it wide though, but the Colonials have players back and pick up that ball. Kerr looking for the goal there and just missed the net. 5-zip RMU. And Kerr will slow it down now. And play is actually stopped. And they'll reposition. Cleo Kerr from straight away. The senior from Frederick, Maryland. Colonials bring it near side, where it's corralled by Tift. Tift jogging into the middle. Now goes to the outside. Still plenty of time on the shot clock as Mackenzie Bell carries it. Drops it behind the net. They try to go in front. A collision there, and the ball will roll all the way back to midfield. And who's going to scoop it up? That ground ball will be picked up by Madison Burke. No, she lost it. And the ball awarded to the Colonials here. So back it comes for RMU. There's been some pretty hard physical play in this game, too. And the officials are letting them go. Bounce pass into the middle, and the quick shot was stopped. Oh, they found Tift underneath in the slot, but her bounce shot was kept out of the goal by Abby Lurch, a freshman from Moon High School up the street in goal. Moon High School is where the Robert Morris football program played before this stadium was built, or as it was being built, when the football program was born a couple decades ago. Football program was brought and started by former NFL head coach Joe Walton, who coached the New York Jets, was also an offensive coordinator with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then longtime head coach here at Robert Morris, and this facility named after Joe Walton. Football program now first-year members of the Big South, as all RMU athletics have changed conferences in this past offseason. And the football season just got started a couple weeks ago. a spring football season for Robert Morris and the Big South. $5-0 lead here for the women's lacrosse team. A team that hasn't lost at home in a couple years. 11:45 to go first half. Robert Morris working it inside all alone, and the finish, and the Colonials make it 6-0. And great cycling by the Colonials as Emily Kim gets the finish, the junior from Howard County, Maryland, number 21. 5 goals, 5 different scores for the Colonials as Emily Kim joins the festivities. And you just can't stop that from in tight. No chance for Abby Lurch as Kim found herself all alone in front of the crease. Goal comes with 11:38 to go here in the first half, and it's all RMU so far. Colonials went 4-0 here at home last year in that abbreviated season. And since 2017, here at home, the Colonials are 24-5. Very impressive record. Now members of the MAC, after spending their history in the NEC, reached the NEC tournament 5 straight seasons. And this year, we're preseason pick number 2 in the MAC, right behind Central Michigan. Colonials before this season, as they get it inside in the shot, stopped by Lurch and knocked down after the shot. As the Colonial attacker in front, as the physical play continues. And now the Zips cross midfield with it, still looking for their first goal of the game. It was Kelly Flynn for RMU, took that shot and then the hit. It's a 15-game schedule for RMU this year, with 10 games against MAC opponents. Again, the Colonials 9-1 against MAC teams coming into the year. They're now 10-1 if you include the win last week against Kent State. Kerr will toss it forward. RMU back on the attack here as we roll down to the 10-minute mark of half number 1. Bounced in front, fought for now, loose ball, and now putting her big goal cross out there is Lurch, and she'll grab it for the Zips and throw the 40-yard pass upfield to Frombach. And Frombach's got possession as she crosses the 50. And it's dislodged from Frombach's stick, but it'll be awarded back to the Zips as they are still looking for goal number 1 here today as they trail Robert Morris 6-0. Great to have you with us here for women's lacrosse, a MAC conference game between the visiting Akron Zips and the home team, the Robert Morris University Colonials. Colonials will be back on the road for a while after today. They'll face Detroit Mercy up in Detroit on Saturday. And won't be back home again until April 3rd when they take on Youngstown State. The Penguins coming to town. In front to Gandy. Oh, it's intercepted. A nice play by Lurch. The Colonials tried to find Gandy in front, but the pass to the far sideline is not drawn in cleanly by Mackenzie Kerwin, and it's turned back over to Robert Morris, and the Colonials right back on offense again. And the pass goes sailing by Kathleen Kelly, but she races back to get to it. She ducked out of the way of it the first time, but they came back to the 30 to get it. And the Colonials put it back in play. Underneath, wide open, the shot and the save by Lurch. Oh man, an open look in front for Isabel Robarge, and Lurch with a huge save. High quality save for the Akron netminder. The goalkeepers made a bunch of saves here today, keeping the Zips from falling way out of this one. And now Akron again with a chance to get on the board. We have had no man-up opportunities yet in this game. Toss underneath, and it's too high, and it'll go back out of the end zone and turn back over to Robert Morris. The Zips are not getting players back on those passes towards the goal line. And a long feed up ahead to Tift as the Colonials now get it to Gandy near side. Mackenzie Gandy has one here so far in the day. Gandy has it now behind the net. Long toss near side for Sister Melanie. Now behind the cage and back to Mackenzie. The ball is dropped though. She has to chase it down in the corner of the end zone and can't get to it. So the ball will be turned over to the Zips. And it remains 6-0 RMU. Head coach Katrina Silva in her third year as the head coach here, as the Colonials force another turnover. A good step up interception by Madison Burke. And now the Colonials right back on the attack underneath. Gandy is throttled as she goes into the slot area, knocked down as play is stopped. On the check, as the hard hits continue here. Let's take another look at that shot taken by Gandy. Boom, the cross check. And the Colonials put it in play. It was not a penalty. It just stopped play and ball awarded back to Robert Morris. The Colonials are not up a player right now, despite the cross check in the slot area against Gandy. RMU possession. Every year it seems the women's game gets a little bit more physical. Always makes you wonder aloud if they're going to start putting on helmets and shoulder pads. And just try to get it up front. Near side, Gandy. Changes direction, splits the D, moves in and shoots, and another save by Lurch. Lurch has stopped everything the last few Colonial shifts. Back upfield come the Zips. Looking for some way to solve this RMU defense. Noel Boyd, near side. More contact. And this ball is misfired on, and so the Colonials will pick up that ground ball and go the other way with it. Here's Tift. Tift has Kerr ahead, has Gandy next to her. Tift will race in. And that'll be a free position for RMU here. 4:46 to go. First half. No scoring in a little while here. The last goal came about 7 minutes ago on that Emily Kim conversion. And now here's Tift. Outside to Cottervas. And behind the net for RMU. Colonial softball team got their home season started over the weekend. It was the earliest home games they've ever played as a program. And got some nice weather here. And it was beautiful this weekend. Sunny skies and temperatures in the 50s, just gorgeous softball weather. Colonials playing a couple of doubleheaders and splitting them both against Detroit Mercy. Kerr's shot is deflected away. Stays with RMU. shot and stopped by Lurch, but the whistle had blown before the shot. And it's turned over to the Zips. I think on the follow-through, they whistled the Colonials. So Akron ball, as goaltender Lurch will put it in play, but she throws it away. Upfield, though, it's picked up by Abby Schaefer. And here comes Schaefer downfield. And Schaefer stops 10 yards out and now will back out. Has the ball dislodged by the Colonial defense, and it's still on the turf, and it'll stay with Akron. And Schaefer will control, the freshman from Blackhawk High School. Akron has been unable to find any gaps on this RMU defense. They get a player underneath, trying to get free for a shot, and the shot comes, and Miller makes the save. They had Silver Heels just outside of the goal crease, made a couple of moves, gets the shot off low at the knees, but Miller there for a big-time save. Keeps that shutout going here with 2:48 to go in the half. And best look of the day for the Zips and Anjali Silver Heels, the freshman from Hamburg, New York. And that shot is bounced off the post. Hitting the post was Kelly, and the ball bounces right back out to RMU. The Zips are getting a lot of saves here from Lurch. Can she do it again? She got help from her best friend, the post, moments ago. The last goal in this game came 9.5 minutes ago. Underneath now, Kelly. And play stopped once again. Freshman from Cincinnati, Ohio. Got to play in her hometown. Last time these Colonials played. And fell to the Bearcats. And that bounce shot goes over the cage and out of the back of the end zone. I mentioned the veterans on this team. There are 12 freshmen on the roster as well for RMU. Intercepted by the Zips. The floater near side was picked off by Boyd, and Boyd races the other way. Silver Heels now. What a name, huh? Silver Heels. And she's got it now in the end zone behind Caitlin Miller. Boyd for the Zips inside. The shot comes high, and it's stopped by Miller again. The Zips have had some pretty good looks on the last couple possessions. Their best looks of the game. That time, the opportunity was for Alexis Kiefer. And the bounce shot is stopped, but the whistle had blown. So the ball may go back to RMU here. And it will. Jonna Anthony, a freshman from Syracuse, New York, moves in, shoots high, and scores. Anthony gets on the board for RMU, and the Colonials lead by a touchdown. From the lacrosse hotbed of Syracuse, New York, Jonna Anthony with just 54.6 seconds remaining in the first half makes it 7-0. Robert Morris here in the MAC home opener. And head coach Katrina Silva has to be pleased, certainly with her defense so far today, but the offense getting some good long possessions, finishing with goals. It's her 9th year overall here at Robert Morris. Was an assistant before taking over the head job 3 seasons ago. But it's not her first head coaching stop. It's her 4th stint as a head coach. Had very successful runs at Virginia Tech, as well as Colgate and Roanoke, too, before coming here to Robert Morris. 40 seconds to go here in the first half. Division I women's lacrosse, Robert Morris and the Akron Zips in the MAC home opener for Robert Morris. Colonials are 1-0 in conference play, the Zips 1-1. Colonials nearly unbeatable here at home. And the Zips now trailing by 7 as Silver Heels walks inside but had 3 defenders on her who knocked that ball loose. And the Colonials with 7 seconds to go will try to get one last shot here. And the pass is fielded by Kerr, who throws one towards the net. It was deflected as it came out of her stick. And so time will run out here in the first half, but it's all Robert Morris after 30 minutes. The Colonials with 7 goals by 7 different players lead at 7-0 over the Zips. Halftime coming your way next. Garo Von Dane back here at Joe Walton Stadium on the campus of Robert Morris University in Pittsburgh. Clouds have moved overhead as we take a look at some first half highlights. And Colonials have taken a 7-0 lead here in the first half. We see some of the goals from RMU. Started with Zolas, then Mackenzie Gandy getting on the board at 26:56. Hannah Miller off the free position, bouncing one past the netminder Abby Lurch to make it 3-0 RMU. And then sister Melanie Gandy gets into the act from the far hash at 19:20, so just over 10 minutes into the game. It's 4-0. Jordan Anderson banging one through. That one coming at 17:02. First of the game for her. The Colonials have scored 7 goals today from 7 different players. As you see, Emily Kim, number 21. That one came at 11:38. And then no scoring all the way until the final minute of the half. And Jana Anthony, number 37, picks up her first of the day with just 54.6 seconds to go first half. And the Colonials taking that 7-0 lead as we're about to start half number 2. Taking a look at some of the first half stats. Robert Morris with 24 shots to 7 for Akron. 24-7 were the shots. Ground balls favored Robert Morris 16-12. And draw controls dominated by the Colonials 5-2. And in clears, it was Robert Morris 14 for 14, Akron 10 of 11. There were no extra man opportunities for either team. Colonials went 4 for 6 on free position shots. Colonials, there you see it, leading 7-0, 5-2 overall record, 1-0 in the MAC, trying to go 2-0 here today against Akron, who is 1-1 in conference play, and 3-2 overall. Another great start for the Colonials, who finished last season with a record of 5-2 before everything stopped abruptly. That was our last broadcast last year, was the women's lacrosse game, and then we were speaking about the game upcoming the following weekend. And I think while we were on the air, we found out that another school had canceled play for the rest of the season for COVID. And we started to wonder on the air, like, is this where we're headed? And sure enough, it was just a couple days later when everything was canceled for the rest of the season. And you all know what happened from there. But great to be back playing here this spring. And Robert Morris off to another good start. 30 minutes are on the clock for the second half. Robert Morris leading 7-0. And the Colonials will lose that draw to the Zips. Akron to put it in play. But the pass ahead misses the mark. Intended target was Abby Schaefer, and the Colonials take it away. They make it so tough on teams just to get the ball across midfield, do the Colonials. Mackenzie Gandy now. Gandy, back pass and misfires, but it's scooped up by the Colonials' Shea McCardle, and then she loses it, but Melanie Gandy's there to pick it up. And Melanie, number 30. What a career she has had here at Robert Morris. Climbing the leaderboard of the all-time scores here with the program. Underneath. Oh, and the shot was stopped by Lurch. What a look inside. But Lurch again showing that speed and the hands, the quickness of the netminder for the Zips. Abby Lurch, just a freshman. She has looked like a veteran here today. And program in good hands, it would seem, with Lurch in that 6x6 cage for the next few years. Colonials have kept Caitlin Miller very well protected today when she's been asked to. She's made some tremendous saves, too. Just 7 shots in the first half for Akron. Zips still trying to get on the board here. 2 minutes gone in the second half. We've played 32 minutes of lacrosse here today. And Akron with no goals yet as Silver Heels carries it up high. And just too much defense for RMU. Backs it back out again, where it'll be handled by Julia Frombach. Gets it underneath to Kiefer. That's the player they want shooting from inside. And Kiefer just hasn't been able to get on the board yet. A freshman from West Chicago, Illinois. Goes to Frombach, who's going to chase it down, but play had been blown dead. And head coach not pleased with some of the calls here. Christy Mitchell. And again, Christy has just 6 extra players on the sidelines, 2 of them goaltenders. And the Colonials race back in with it. Melanie Gandy jogs behind the goal line with a 7-0 lead. No scoring yet here in the second half. That pass was deflected away and the Zips force the turnover as Kiefer picks it up. Careless possession for RMU. And let's see if the Zips can get it across midfield. Something that is not a given against this Robert Morris team, and they throw it away. The pressure just forcing turnovers. As the pass went out of bounds, out of the stick of number 12, Mackenzie Kerwin. As you might expect, a very heavy freshman roster for this Akron team. 1 sophomore and 1 junior, and the rest freshmen. Now, a lot of them played a year ago in that abbreviated season, just didn't lose a year of eligibility. So it's not all their first year of lacrosse. Thrown underneath, and the shot unable to be taken because knocked to the turf was the Colonial player Flynn. And she'll have the free position near edge of the fan. Moves in, twists away, now throws it back up top again. Had a little room there to shoot. Instead elected to go to Kathleen Kelly up high. Now working her way in is Robarge. Goes behind the net, now up top to Miller. Hannah Miller works her way in. Goes behind the goal line to Melanie Gandy. Back up top it goes. They go inside and they get the finish, and the Colonials get back on the board here in the second half. Julia Carvas for RMU makes it 8-0. Carvas, who wears number 8. And RMU, as we take another look at it, and the quick finish got herself open and just buried it high over the right shoulder of Lurch. And the freshman Carvas makes it 8-0 Colonials. Goal comes with 25:31 to go second half. Carvas, sophomore from Hagerstown, Maryland. Did I say freshman? She's sophomore. The Colonials right back on the attack as they throw it behind the cage. The pass was too high. Knocked down, and the Colonials, though, with the good hard work there to find that loose ball. Robert Morris leading 8-0. The Zips used one of their timeouts. back in the first half when they fell behind 4-0. They have just one left. And in normal circumstances, an 8-goal lead is not insurmountable with this much time left, but Akron just has not been able to get on the board yet. Free position for Zolas. Tosses it back door, but well defended by Akron. Knocked away by Alexi Hardy, the freshman from Beaver Creek, Ohio, but the Colonials find the loose ball. We'll put it back into play. 30 seconds on the shot clock. Behind the net now, up top it goes. Held, the pass underneath. Here comes the bounce shot, but it goes wide out of the cross of number 37, Gianna Anthony. She has a goal so far today. Now here's the low shot that gets in. Boy, quick release from Kelsey Nelson for RMU, and it's 9-0 Colonials. Kelsey Nelson getting into the act. Nice little move in the slot, and the quick low shot as we get another look at it here. Good find from Melanie Gandy, and that low shot at the knee. And RMU continuing their dominance here over the Zips with 24:06 to go, second half. All RMU here today. And now they are just one goal away from having the running clock the rest of the way. .56 degrees here now as temperatures have warmed up at Joe Walton Stadium here in Pittsburgh. Glad to have you with us wherever you're tuning in from. Join the YouTube chat and tell everybody where you're tuning in from. We've had some great viewing crowds this year for lacrosse, men's and women's. Ball dislodged at midfield. The Zips will maintain possession. As Akron's still trying to get on the board here, but the Colonials' defense only gets better as the games wear on. As they just kind of keep working on the opposition of tiring them out. And this defense just never lets up. Seen some really good games here at home this year, some close games. Colonials are pretty well battle tested here in the early part of the season. Not as many blowout wins as they've had in years past. As that pass is off the mark, unable to pull it in was Madeline Shoebridge, the freshman from Cincinnati. And it's turned over again by the Zips. There's that Colonial pressure D in the transition, causing turnovers. RMU, the pass underneath was deflected once. Kerr backs it towards the net. It bounces wide. Gandy, though, goes to get it. Mackenzie Gandy winning the race for that loose ball. And sharing the wealth continues here today. 9 goals by 9 different players for Robert Morris. We're used to seeing, 4 or 5 goals from Mackenzie Gandy, 3 or 4 from Melanie. But here we've got it all spread out, and Cleo Kerr races in, gets the pass, and the quick shot and score. And Kerr makes it 10-zip RMU. And number 27 for the Colonials is added one here for RMU. And the Colonials lead by double digits with 22:32 to go. And now Kerr becomes the 10th different scorer for Robert Morris. And now the officials will say, start that clock. And the clock will start, and now it will not stop unless Akron gets back to within 1. I mean, rather, within 9, I should say, not within 1. All RMU here today as they continue to roll here in Pittsburgh. This has been a house of horrors for teams visiting the Joe. They've been pushed to the brink a couple times here at home this year, but RMU has battled tough. They turn it over here, though, as the Zips will take possession. Akron will move in, but the defensive pressure knocked the ball loose momentarily, but it's whistled against Shea McCardle, so it'll stay with Kiefer and the Zips. Garo Von Dane here in Pittsburgh. Great to have you with us for Division I Women's Lacrosse here in the MAC home opener for Robert Morris. Their first year in the MAC after leaving the NEC. And the shot and the save by Miller. First save of the second half for Caitlin Miller. Made 7 saves in half number 1. And preserves the shutout here with 21 minutes to go. And that pass was knocked away, and now the Zips picking up their midfield defense. And the ball is loose right there around the 30. It's still scooped at. It turns into a field hockey game, and the ball's still on the turf. And now it's finally awarded to Robert Morris. Again, Colonials in their grays this year, and the visiting Akron Zips in their dark blues with the gold and white trim. Short 2-hour road trip for Akron. Down here to Pittsburgh. The ball was stolen away for the moment by Abby McMullen, but the Colonials get it back again. 10 minutes gone here in half number 2. And the Colonials have outscored the Zips 3-0 here in the half. Ball is knocked loose. It bounced towards the netminder Lurch, who scoops it up, and the ball is awarded to the Akron Zips. And now Akron will bring it back downfield. You know, they are just dying to get on the board here. Get that goose egg off the scoreboard. But they have thus far been unable to solve this Colonial defense, and when those few opportunities have presented themselves, haven't been able to beat the veteran goaltender Miller. And it's stolen away, but it'll be whistled against McCardle, and ball back to Anna Dennison and the Akron Zips. Underneath, and there's the shot from Kiefer, and it goes wide. Kiefer with the quick shot was looking for that corner, but missed it wide. And another chance, and it's stopped by Miller. Oh, a good look there on the second chance for Akron, but Miller with maybe her best save of the game. You know, she wants to keep that 0 on the board, does Miller. And the Colonials will turn it upfield. Long passes here. Ahead to Kerr it goes. Cleo Kerr. Couple of stick fakes. Now drops it off for Kim. Kim tries to twist underneath, but had the ball knocked out by Mackenzie Kerwin. The Zips take over possession, and they will toss a long one upfield. Frombach trying to play it ahead, and does. Just bounces it to herself on the near sideline and then picks it up. And now she'll race in. Has a little bit of room here. And now she's cut off as the Colonials recover defensively. The Zips try to set up their offense. They're getting closer here on the last few possessions, and Kiefer with the turning shot buries it into the corner, and Kiefer finally gets the Zips on the board. And Akron can breathe a little bit easier now as their leading scorer, Alexis Kiefer, the freshman from West Chicago, Illinois, has her 15th of the year and first of the game. And Akron gets on the board. It's now a 10-1 game. So after the goal, that gets the Zips back to within 9, so that stops the clock. And we have a timeout on the field. Robert Morris leading 10-1. Back to Joe Walton Stadium in just a moment. Great to have you with us from Joe Walton Stadium here in Pittsburgh. Robert Morris leading 10-1 over the Akron Zips. Had a 10-0 lead. And the Zips finally getting on the board. A goal from Alexis Kiefer. First of the day, 15th of the year. And the Zips get that clock to stop again. After the 10-goal lead running clock. And it looks like RMU is going to make a switch in goal. As the Colonials will go with Jamie Keller, the junior from nearby McMurray, Pennsylvania, in the South Hills of Pittsburgh. So Keller in goal now for RMU. That's all for Caitlin Miller. As Miller gives up 1 goal today. And the shot comes high and it gets through. Over the shoulder shot by Isabel Robarge. And the freshman from Webster, New York gets that goal right back for RMU. And the clock rolls once again. And with just over 17 minutes to go in regulation time, and beats Abby Lurch. And Robarge becomes the 11th different goal scorer for RMU today. 11-1 Colonials. The Zips came into the day averaging just under 11 goals per game. And so far, they are being held to just 1. Colonials trying to go to 25-5 here at home since 2017. They're about 16 minutes away from doing that. Colonials back on the attack here. The 10-goal lead against the Akron Zips. Glad to have you with us wherever you're tuning into Women's Division I Lacrosse for the MAC home opener for RMU. Colonials 5-2 on the year. And 1-0 in conference play, looking to stay unbeaten in the league. Again, the Colonials defeated Akron 18-4 a season ago. And the ball is pushed around on the turf and then just reaching out as Lurch to steal it away. And her pass upfield to Frombach. Had the connection there, and then Frombach had the ball knocked out, but it's going to be given back to her. And it'll be Zips' ball near midfield. Frombach races up in front of her own bench with it. And carrying it in that goal, in that cross. And drops it off, but the Colonials with triple coverage there on defense knock the ball loose. And it will be Robert Morris' ball on the near sideline as they play it upfield. Now Cleo Kerr with a step. Cleo Kerr swings it left side. Gandy, Mackenzie Gandy. Wanted to go near side and does to Melanie. Now inside to Kerr, had the open look but didn't have the ball in her stick. And the ball had bounced away from her, but it was recovered by the Colonials. Melanie Gandy near side. Goes behind the net for Mack. Back to Melanie, and it's intercepted by Lurch. He just reached up with that fishnet to make the play. Lurch has had a good game despite giving up 11 goals here today. This score will be a lot worse without some big saves from her. And the pass inside, intercepted again. And a lot of turnovers forced by the Zips today, too. That's going to be one thing that Colonial coach Katrina Silva looks at later and will try to minimize in their next game on Saturday. Here comes the shot. It's low and wide from Shoebridge. Keller in goal now for Robert Morris, the junior from Peters Township High School. After Caitlin Miller made her 67th straight starting goal today. And played about 3 quarters and gave up just 1 goal. Probably right about when she was starting to think about a shutout. Still 13:20 to go here in this one. And the pass ahead will roll out of bounds, and it'll be Akron ball. The Zips got on the board with 17:36 to go in the second half. Robert Morris racing back in with it is Kathleen Kelly. To the outside. Colonials making some substitutions now. And getting some new players on the field. As Olivia Rupert comes into the game from Seneca Valley High School locally. Mackenzie Gandy still out there, though, rips one wide. Also into the game, Elizabeth Engel, the senior on defense from Bayport, New York. Kelly Colgrove out on the field for RMU. As the clock rolls down to 12 minutes to go, the running clock here, and the 10-goal lead for Robert Morris. And now the Zips have some room. Defended, though. Ball loose. Into the air it goes. And picked up and dropped, and a little bit of contact there. And the ball will be given back to Anjali Silverheels. Silverheels with a straightaway look here against Keller. Moves in. Gets the shot off, but it was defended, so it went wide. And I think it's going to be another chance for Silverheels and the Zips. Oh, are they going to call a penalty on this? Contact to the head, perhaps. And so coming off the field for RMU is Kelly Colgrove, and she will sit. And now each team down a player because the Zips lost Madeline Shoebridge. And now Shoebridge is out of the box and back in. And so the Zips are up a player now with the ball, down 10. Abby McMullen tries to get it underneath the Kiefer, who was hit. And the Zips, though, get one through. And they beat Keller, and Akron has their second of the game. And it's Silver Heels for the Zips getting on the board, the freshman from Hamburg, New York. As we take another look at it here, it was Kiefer who took some head contact. Silver Heels from a tough angle, bouncing one through. And the Akron Zips have scored 2 of the last 3 goals in this game, and that stops the clock with 11:06 to go as they get back to within 9 goals. An unusual game, again, as I point out that every goal in this game has been scored by a different player. Nobody has 2 goals today. Off the draw, ball will be awarded to the Colonials. RMU firmly in control of this game with 11 minutes to go in regulation time. The pass is knocked aside and will be scooped up by RMU into the slot, though 3 defenders around her, so didn't try to shoot. And contact was made, so now she'll have a little bit of room here on the free position. And Zolas will throw it back outside. Jonna Anthony back into the game for RMU. Near side, Jordan Anderson dancing with it. Bouncing in, bouncing out. Now to Mackenzie Gandy. Thought about splitting the D. Nowhere to go. Backs it back out. And play stopped. And both teams back to full strength. The Zips scoring on that man-up opportunity. Their second goal of the game. And really, Zips doing a good job of keeping the Colonials' offense somewhat in check. I mean, 11 goals today. The Colonials scored 18 a year ago against Akron. Bounced into the middle, and it's stolen away by Akron. And finding that ball was Jenna Reidner, a freshman out of Cincinnati. And Akron upfield with it as they will cross the 50. Head coach Christy Mitchell wants to see this team finish strong, and they have certainly picked up their play over the last few minutes. Have the Zips scored 2 of the last 3 goals in the game, gotten better possessions, and forcing RMU turnovers. And the shot gets through as the Zips score again out of the free position. And Akron now with 3 goals on the board. Anna Dennison, the junior from Falston, Maryland, the lone junior on the team, beats Keller. And again, a different score. And the Zips have scored 3 of the last 4 goals in this game, as they have started to come on. And it's now 11-3. And a big draw here at midfield as the Zips try to build a little momentum now. Into the air it goes, and the Colonials will control as Jordan Anderson wins that one. Now Tift lost it, got it back. Tift will bring it in for RMU and now give it over to Kelly Flynn. RMU will now look to break this momentum by the Zips and get a goal of their own. Last goal for the Colonials came 8 minutes ago. Underneath, turning shot gets in. Oh, good play there. The pass from Tift to Anderson, who does the rest. And Jordan Anderson gets on the board for RMU with 9:09 to go as the Colonials get back in the score column. Good find. Turning shot by Anderson. And that is the first player to score 2 goals today, Jordan Anderson. Timeout on the field, 12-3. All Robert Morris here from the Joe.
Assisted by number 10, Colleen Tiff. The Colonials goal scored with 9 minutes, 9 seconds remaining in the second half.
(12-3), the Colonials in front of the Akron Zips. Zips use your last timeout. We're trying to climb back into this one. Still a pretty tall order, but had a little something going there, scoring 3 out of 4 goals and getting to within 8. But Colonials getting the Jordan Anderson goal right before the timeout. Now push that lead back out to 9. And the Colonials win that draw. Another one for Jordan Anderson, the sophomore from Prior Lake High School in Minnesota. The Akron Zips force the turnover. And it bounces around, and Akron will try to get their offense set up. But look at the Colonials swarming around the Zips here at midfield. And the ball is passed to the sideline. Can they pull it in? And yeah, they say it's Akron ball. Now they'll throw it across midfield. And what's this whistle for? I think the official on the near sideline called that contact on the pass on the far sideline. Even though there was an official 5 yards away from the play. Akron ball, midfield, 8:25 to go. Still trying to get across the 50 is Madeline Shoebridge. Gives it off. And now running across the 50 is Kerwin. Kerwin will bring it in for Akron. Good pass underneath, but the shot goes wide from Jacqueline Glassy. Glassy had room, missed the cage. And the Colonials take over possession with under 8 minutes to go. Clouds obscuring the sun here in Pittsburgh. This game started off in the sun. It has come out intermittently. Robert Morris here trying to go to 6-2 on the year and 2-0 in conference play. Next game is on Saturday on the road against Detroit Mercy. Underneath, and the bat shot goes in, just slapped in, and the Colonials back on the board. Kelly Flynn getting the goal for RMU. Just swatted it in on the pass from Zolas, and the Colonials back up 10. So the clock will roll again with the 10-goal lead. And RMU firmly in control of this game after back-to-back goals by Anderson and Flynn. Draw at midfield. Colonials have controlled since the opening horn. Took a 7-0 lead at the half. Now have outscored Akron 6-3 here in the second half. Akron did not get on the board until Alexis Kiefer scored with 17:36 to go in the second half. And unable to get a clear shot for the Colonials inside was Zolas. And so that ball is picked up by Lurch. But the pass ahead intercepted by the Colonials. Picked off by Nelson. And now Flynn drops it back. Colonials with the ball, knocked down. And getting back up again is Kelsey Nelson. RMU forcing a lot of turnovers here today, as they generally do with this high-pressure defense. Zolas gets inside and elects not to shoot and backs it out. Underneath, and the check inside as Anderson was knocked down. And a hit from an Akron Zip in the high slot, so some room here. Who takes the baseball swing and throws a strike. 14-3 Colonials. Look at that shot from Jordan Anderson. He stepped up to the tee and just let her rip. We take another look at it. Look at that swing. Ken Griffey would be proud. RMU with 3 straight goals now. And Jordan Anderson has the hat trick today. The only player in the game with 3 goals. The only player with multiple goals today. So Colonials have scored 14 goals and have 13 different players accounting for them. Or rather 12. My math suffering here on this Tuesday afternoon. 14-3 RMU. I got that much correct as the Colonials work another turnover behind their own net. 4 minutes to go in this one. And it's been all Robert Morris since the outset. 14-3 lead for the home team. In this MAC home opener for RMU. As they're minutes away from going 2-0 in conference play. There is no conference tournament scheduled at this point for the MAC. I'm not sure if that could change. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And then the moving shot off the free position gets in, and Colleen Tift adds one for RMU. Tift, the sophomore from Liverpool, New York, becomes the 13th different goal scorer. And the Colonials roll on. As we're in the final 3 minutes of this one. Colleen Tift for Robert Morris, her first of the day. And now the Colonials have scored 4 unanswered since that short stretch there where the Zips had turned things around a little bit and had scored 3 out of 4 goals. But now just a matter of the final score here with 2:05 to go as the Colonials win another draw courtesy of Jordan Anderson. Pass. Gets ahead to Kelly. Kelly moves in, shoots one and misses the cage. And it stays with RMU. Kelly will get another crack at it. Shooting space violation, so Kelly will get another look here. Number 31 in the red headband for RMU. In the final 2 minutes here in Pittsburgh. Contact on the hash, thrown near side. Looking for Anderson, couldn't draw it in the slot, but it stays with RMU as Flynn finds it, goes behind the net with it. Handled by Cameron Nisi, the freshman from Glenview, Illinois, into the game. Behind the net for Robert Morris. In front, and it's stolen away by the Zips as Jenna Ridenauer takes it away for Akron. Final minute of play here at the Joe. Silverheels has a step on the Colonial defense. Can they get it ahead to her? Well, they're not going to try. And the ball dislodged from behind the play, but it's whistled against Kathleen Kelly. And so the ball back to Akron. 15-3 Robert Morris. Glad you could join us for Division I Women's Lacrosse here today at the MAC home opener for Robert Morris. Second ever meeting with the Zips. Williams winning 18-4 a year ago and now leading 15-3 here today. It's been all Robert Morris, and again, another defensive clinic for RMU. Caitlin Miller gave up just 1 goal through about 3 quarters. And Robert Morris, that shot will get in as the Zips get 1 more on the board. They're going to make it 15-4. But that's going to be all the scoring for Akron today as the final seconds will roll off the clock here as the Colonials are going to win this one 15-4. The Zips get a late goal from Noelle Boyd. And that will do it for the MAC home opener here in Pittsburgh. 15-4, your final score for Robert Morris. They get 15 goals courtesy of 13 different players as they spread out their offense today. Jordan Anderson gets the hat trick for RMU, and the Colonials roll on as they have won another one here at home. They stay unbeaten here at the Joe. They go to 6-2 on the year, as you see on the screen there. 2-0 in the MAC. Akron falls to 3-3 overall, 1-2 in the MAC conference. And the Colonials just continue to be unbeatable here at home. They go to 25-5 since 2017. They were unbeaten at home last year and are unbeaten at home again so far this year. The Colonials will take to the road on Saturday to face Detroit Mercy. Next home game will be in April, if you can believe April's just around the corner. That'll be against Youngstown State on April 3rd. We'll see you here for that one back at the Joe. And we'd like to thank you all so much for joining us for Robert Morris Lacrosse here from Joe Walton Stadium on the campus of Robert Morris University in Pittsburgh. Colonials defeat the Akron Zips by a final score of 15-4. Our broadcast was directed by Matt Simkovic. I am Garo Von Dane saying so long from Pittsburgh. Have a great week, everyone. And let's go Colonials. Thanks for joining us today, everybody. So long.